It was pretty rough.
All right. So if you're joining us, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Group 7 here joining us. And then I believe, I want to say session 5. Yeah, session 5. We're getting up
Yes.
there, right? Getting up there in the
Keeping
numbers.
track.
So keep track. So going through the recap, we kind of started off at the manor, right? With T was just kind of reaching and having that kind of effect that what was kind of overcoming them, and that was really played off by the by you all and the Duke, and it kind of was just like, oh, trauma, like it was this just thing that had happened, right? A little blip, and it seemed like everything was good, right? Kind of moving away from that, and then it got into some more questions, got into some more conversation. Tegan, you had, taken a step out, kind of giving yourself some air, giving yourself some space, and then after the kind of conversation concluded, you got an understanding a little bit about the Duke knowing that there was some things happening, particularly to caravans, right? Kind of being not necessarily making it. There was kind of hinted a little bit, just a tinge, and so it kind of added more of a scope to Harak in that there is a lot of things that are happening here. We have the missing prospectors, right? A couple of these other things, um, and then they were talking about like what to do as far as this particular situation. Do we send message, right? Do we send emissary? Do we send envoy? And so they've kind of sent, and they were talking more about how what they can do to alleviate the situation. So, kind of concluding into that, summarizing that whole conversation, they definitely are hands off towards what Palo Riza is doing at the Hawk Mining Company, but they're wanting to kind of play that macro or that global hand as best as they seem to be able to do in a very rich and luxurious way. Um, so, going to the field house, Palo Riza, you took and agreed to go through. Now, this agreement was not just to kill these creatures, right? This agreement was really to investigate why they're doing what they're doing and what is going on. And so you went through the tunnel, which you actually paused and turned around. You continue through that tunnel, and actually, not too much more time after you have come across this large lava flat with a geological structure of like a land bridge as it forms across. These creatures seem to have put a camp of some kind upon a large kind of width section of the land bridge as it transitions across the actual lava flats and goes into another tunnel towards the backside of the east off map, roughly 60 to 80 feet from the land bridge. Now, the cliff sides themselves are about 200 feet or so. That was showcased by the tossing of the creatures off the cliff sides by Maldo. Maldo's taking him and throwing him off. That was pretty funny as he went through the exposition where he's yelling, "Ah!" So you're literally free falling the entire combat. And it's upon landing where all that all that bludgeoning damage. Um, so one of the things that these creatures did was they had primed an explosive upon the bridge itself. So they had actually put in explosives in under the rock through these boreholes, and there was this odd kind of mushroom twined hyphae rope that they had, and it was like they used it kind of as that spark, as that fuse, right? And it was all done by that robed figure, the crooked face with these white eyes and weathered features, and it was very much a Yoda-ish character, right? The way it kind of wobbled around, but it didn't speak. It didn't showcase that it could talk really. It was actually talking through others. And it seemed to have a psychic presence as well when it forced a reaction out of a couple of you to attack, or at least one to attack friend, and then tried to, and another, right? So it had a very strong psychic presence to be able to do that and control. We had just really finished and concluded the fight, right? We had kind of concluded this. And as we did that, there was a barrel particularly by the creature, right, that they had kind of carried over their shoulders. They disappeared into the large hut, if you will. And from that, it seemed to have some sort of toxic and nauseous effect about it. There's this fumes. And I relate it very much to like gasoline in a way, that there's a sense of their vaporization that's happening as it was cracked and done. Now, beyond that, there's none of you have really figured out why this creature particularly was doing it, just beyond maybe, hey, he was just trying to poison y'all. But it seemed that this creature had an intent or a purpose to this actual barrel that was unfulfilled. Right, there's something that this creature was trying to do, just was not. As we finish it off, I do want to just go through and say that the one of the particular creatures had ran away. So in similar fashion to the previous fight that you've had with these creatures in the cavern, they were well coordinated, well strategic, and they had one fall back to kind of relay information. Through the strategy, that was really showcased in this particular fight, not necessarily the last one, and how they were actually changing formation and shifting themselves around and kind of giving space and making kind of a very combat aware presence by how they were fighting. And I really threw you all through a loop as you kind of had your own plan, and then you had to adjust your plan, and then kind of adjust it again as you were kind of going through the motions of the long sequence. So with that said, Brendan, do you have any questions at all? Any of that?
No. Everything. I feel like I'm pretty caught up. The rest
All
I'll
right.
just roll with it.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and unpause it and then cue up some music here. So again, we're just finishing up the fight. I believe Mulder kind of stepped away, right, to get some air to kind of get outside of the poison that was there, and a couple of you were beginning to kind of heal and do other sorts of things. So pause.
So we noticed that one got away during the fight when we were fighting, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you would have noticed this individual running at that point, disappearing behind the objects, and clearly has not come out as you. Right, nothing has came past the tents as you have pushed up. Right, they were all front by the towers.
Do y'all want to take a rest and heal up through that, or do y'all want to push forward and try to catch this one?
I think we need to scope out this area. So we had just I tried to search the dead gentleman in the center there, but I was doing a poor job of it because I was poisoned. So Maldor probably he's going to walk over towards the main tent to go check that out. And he just pointed the downed lieutenant, whatever. Someone check his pockets and mind the poison.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't stay around too long, but it'll probably take a while. Like, how concentrated is the fumes? Right, like right where the sorcerer guy is.
It's just really in that area where the barrel had been cracked. Right, it's kind of spewing out, and it's slowly dissipating. It's not a rapid process of vaporization. It seems to be taking.
Oh, it's a vapor thing anyway. So, can I drag them out a little bit out of it, then try to search them?
Yeah, that's fine.
While they're doing that, can I just search these back tents back here?
Yeah, so go ahead and roll investigation for the back tents, and then Zeph, you're searching the body there. Go ahead and roll investigation, and then Maldor, you kind of come into the large tent. So this large tent, as far as what you come in, the immediate smell of the particular kind of that toxic, noxious kind of fumes are there, but very less concentrated, not going to poison you of any kind. And it seems to be emanating from multiple casks of similar design and shape as the one that you kind of threw down. And they're actually at the kind of the top left corner of this actual hut. And they're kind of stacked together. And they're not leaking. They're perfectly sealed, but still giving off. And that blackish, again, that mushroom. It's not wood necessarily, and it's metal reinforced as well. And then next to that seems to be kind of a circular table. It has a few pieces of like mushroom papyrus or paper, right? That's kind of littered out, written in language you don't understand. And there's a couple different ink bottles potentially, and like this kind of not necessarily a quill like from a bird, but it kind of resembles a quill in its shape, and it's like a flat kind of leaf that comes off the back end. Underneath that table are a couple different stools. They're made out of wood, so the table is made out of wood, and then there's two chests that kind of linger next to it with padlocks on both of them, metal reinforced. Kind of towards the south side there of the actual hut, there's a few different sacks of the same kind of cloth that the tents are made out of, and from now inspecting it being inside, definitely seems to be interwoven dried mushroom husk and different things that they've kind of elaborately made. And at the south side is similar of kind of laid out hide of different animals and like a bedroll, right? So you're kind of noting that as a place that this creature might have been kind of sleeping, and they're sleeping directly on the ground. And as far as Tegan, your investigation 14, that itself is also brought to you, right? That you're seeing the same kind of bedroll setup that I've kind of just described. It's in the big hut. They're sleeping directly on the floor. And then particular smaller tents, you're finding backpacks. These backpacks are filled with adventure supplies. Inside there's climbers kits. They have a variety of different weapons. It seems that each of these particular soldiers actually has 2 sets of weapons, particularly like 2 war picks, 1 shield, 2 crossbows. There's bolts within there. The crossbows and bolts are made out of metal. And then there are sacks of food that are in there. The food itself, as well as the sacks in the large kind of hut that you're looking at in Aldor, they have this greenish, blackish look to them. They smell a lot like dried fish. They kind of salt and cure to them. And then there's other sorts of like mushrooms that have been dried off. Not necessarily independent mushrooms, but they're like pieces of much larger shrew. It seems that they're kind of cut off, and you're noticing the gills that are kind of layered in there. Now, Zeph, with an investigation of 15, you're looking upon the body of this figure. This figure is completely naked underneath the actual robe that goes over them, and their flesh itself is rotten and twisted and turned and kind of mutated in a way. You're noticing there's a slight kind of hunchback to the creature. The staff has no runes, no inscriptions. It just seems to be really like a walking stick. Inside, though, you find that there is a dagger, kind of a twisted dagger that is there. And it seems to be of high quality, but nothing about it screams that it would be magical. It just seems to be made to be like ornate in a way. And then there's a kind of a tinge or like a blackish tinge to the actual metal, which is really interesting. And the only one thing about this beyond the dagger that catches your eye is a particular ring that sits on its left kind of index finger, if you will. And this ring has kind of a silverish band around it, and then a very neat kind of emerald gemstone that's laid in. And it has a slight kind of glow to it that catches the right light. And it seems to be something that stands out, given the creature has no other material possessions.
Yeah. I'll definitely be grabbing the dagger and the ring for sure.
Okay.
And I have no way of identifying, but I can ritually do detect magic, so I'll get started on that.
Well,
Okay,
this
so
is all
ritualizing.
happening. Tegan's just gonna yell out, "Hey, we got supplies in these tents. I don't know if you guys want to take this stuff back with us when we're done here, but definitely some money to be made to getting the stuff back to town."
Tegan, you should come have a look at this. There's writings and also some locked containers stuff. Hopefully you can help us with.
I come over and I first I'll take a look at the papers and see if I can read it.
Going over to the papers, Tegan, doesn't seem like you can read the particular language that's here. It has very dwarvish runes kind of attached to it, but it's not dwarvish per se, and most of them are kind of scribed small notes in little paragraphs. That's what it looks like.
And I look at Maldur and I say, I don't know, I'm not necessarily good at picking locks. However, he reaches in his bag and he pulls out a crowbar and said, "You might be able to do something with this."
That is one way to do it. Okay, so I guess I'm going to attempt to force the locks on the chests.
Okay, so you're just going to break the locks?
Yeah, with like a crowbar or something.
Okay. Do you have
Is
a
there any way
crowbar?
we can?
Yeah, Tegan,
Yeah,
I have
need
one as well too. Actually, I just saw. it.
Really? So many crowbars. 1, 2,
We have
3.
lots
All
of
right.
crowbars.
Can
So
I
use
use
it-
mine with his to give him advantage?
Yeah. So you can help together and kind of try to break the chest. So I need 2 different checks. Whoever's going to take it first, and then it's going to be a strength check with advantage. So it's a flat strength check, and then hold on Alt when you click it. So whoever's going to do it.
Okay. These rolls, man.
So you give. Does not seem to budge. Your crowbar
Need some
begins
help
to
over there.
slightly kind of bend a little bit, and maintains composure, and just was not able to open.
Am I rolling one as well, or is he rolling with advantage?
So you're helping. So you're right alongside together. You kind of both have your crowbars in at both sides of the chest, right? And you're kind of leveraging it. And it's
Yeah,
not
yeah. I held down Alt, but I think it just showed the better of the 2 rolls. If a 2 was the better of the 2 rolls, I'm impressed.
We did not roll advantage, so you can
Did
roll
it not?
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll again.
Oh,
16. Okay,
that's
so
better.
getting the advantage for yourself, Tegan. Right, give some more effort into it, I suppose, and then it breaks the actual kind of hinge that's there that has the padlock. So that's kind of broken off now. So the chest is pretty much kind of unusable in a sense. And as you kind of crack and kind of carry it over, and look within, you see that there are 3 kind of darkened cloth purses, and they seem to be filled with gold pieces.
Definitely worth the effort.
Nice.
Hand those to Tegan to count, and then I'll move on to there was 2 chests, right?
That's correct. There's 2 chests. Tegan, as you count, there's 600 gold pieces in those 3 pieces.
Nice. I'll start divvying it up.
Okay.
I say, hey, one of you want to come help them? Help Meldor? And I toss whoever comes a crowbar.
I'll help.
All right, try alt again. It might be sticky. Sometimes they stick and it just doesn't work. 15. This one pops open. As you do, you get it out. You notice inside seems to be not necessarily ingots. That's actually ore, but it seems to be this darkened. It's like a darkened iron. Is a good way to look at it. So it has a slight polish to it, but it's kind of black. And it's kind of crumbly, and it's just the ore that looks like, and it seems to be piled in within 2 different kind of large sacks.
Can I open that book that I bought and kind of skim through it to see if there's any depictions of what Darksteel would look like?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's kind of what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll an intelligence check with advantage. Given that you have the book. Let's see where you're at with that.
Ah,
16. So getting the advantage there because you have the book, right? You have the resource. You've taken the time with it previously to look through it and kind of relating it. This would be what is referred to as dark steel. What this ore could be turned into.
I just hold up the book and I go, this is what we're looking for. From what I understand, this stuff's pretty rare, so we should definitely take this.
So
And
I will.
I remember it being discussed, but I don't remember what's the benefit, if any, of Darksteel, or
I don't
It's
think
lighter and stronger, right? I think that's what. I think that's what it was said.
It's lighter. It's stronger. It also is rare in the sense that surface dwellers don't use it. What this book kind of described, in that there's kind of deposits of this, and given that it's in this chest and locked away, kind of gives you the notion that it was being protected.
So you said it was in like 2 separate sacks. Are those manageable enough for like myself and Lucar to carry one each?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's that much in the fact. It's only about, it's 3 pounds. So I'm going to put 3 pounds here. Actual chat. And
Yeah, like-
I'm gonna drag over there's actual item. But so it feels like there's not that much in here, considering that you need to refine it, put it into ingots, and how much you need to actually make it into a weapon or armor. And the way that it's locked in here, and the fact that there's a camp here and leads to a mine, particularly, might draw on some conclusions.
That's like,
Go ahead.
I was just thinking out loud that I don't know much about ore or smithing or anything like that. That, like, once refined, that might be enough for a dagger. I don't know, actually. I don't know how much you would get out of ore, but
By the way, you see Tegan kind of just throw out the purses and go, it's 120 for all of us.
Or we could each take 100 and put 100 in the treasury.
Okay.
Let's do that instead, if
Here, let me
that's
check
good with
them back
everybody else.
Alright.
You sure? I don't wanna make y'all do this. I'm
I
just
know. I think
offering it up.
No, out of character, I mean, didn't we all agree about an emergency fund
Yeah.
to put away? So that's fair.
probably gonna need funds for the caravan stuff
Mhm.
too, maybe.
Just quality of life costs. We can just dip
Alright.
into that for them.
So if it's only 3 pounds, I'll probably just scoop it up and tuck it away for later. The ore.
Okay. I put the 100 gold in the treasury.
Cool.
I went and dragged an item in for the ore, noting 3 pounds, and then at this point, Zeph, your detect magic probably has been ritualized, casted, so you're kind of showcasing. You're not sensing any magic beyond the ring that is currently on the individual, and then the dagger itself is giving off some magic, but then as you pick up the dagger and remove it from the body, that magic is no longer there.
I'm not sure what to make of that.
Still,
I'll
can
definitely
you have
make.
the dagger out?
By this point, I would say, yeah. I'd probably also mention what Michael just said to Varus, since he knows more about magic than I do.
No, I was just gonna
Oh.
say, is there any way we can compare the dagger to the ore and see if there's any similarities?
With you already taking the intelligence check, you would know that that is potentially that dagger is Darksteel.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what were you asking me, Zeph?
I was just going to mention the how the dagger seemed kind of magical at first, but then when I removed it from the guy's body, it stopped seeming magical.
Can I do an Arcana check just to see what that's about? Or
Sure, unroll.
Yeah.
It's giving an arcane of 19. Where there is some connection to detect magic after Zeph, you're kind of relating that was you remove the body, right? And then I would assume you're relating information that the ring is magical as well prior to the arcane.
Do
check.
I know what kind of magical it is?
Yeah, I can give you the school here. Let me see, you get a look at something.
oh, this sound scared me.
It's funny.
Production budget at work.
Production. Yeah, exactly.
Production, quit it.
Let me see. I'm relating it to spell effects the best way I can. So the ring showcases. I'm going to say both of them showcase School of Enchantment. And then something about the ring has a slight School of Divination. From your Arcana of 19, given the fact that the magic itself is somewhat removed, there is some connection between the ring and the dagger. What connection that is, even with Arcana of 19, you don't have enough evidence really to go off of what it might be. You don't have the tech magic yourself. Even if you had the schools coming to you, you can play off that maybe one is fueling the other, or this one needs to be close to that one to get some aura that's giving off. But again, there's not a lot of evidence to go off of. Let's go check.
Did you take the ring off of him, Zeph?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
I took the dagger first, though, so that was. Does it come back if I take the ring also and have both in hand?
Yeah, seems to have both in hand, and you're kind of holding them there. After a period here, there seems to be some presence that you're kind of noticing, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh. Nice.
It doesn't pass.
You,
Oh man, that'd be
You know-
crazy.
you notice there is like a probe happening that your kind of eyes maybe go around a little bit, and then slowly and surely a voice kind of emanates in your mind. What do you think you're doing?
Good luck. By who is talking?
It's me, you pig fucker.
Well, that is just rude and unhelpful.
Is it just me, or is the cleric speaking to himself? No judgment.
Zeph,
Well-
you alright, buddy?
I'll let you know in a minute as soon as I look. Somebody's talking. Obviously, from your responses, only I hear them. I have no idea where it's coming from. Probably these things I'm holding. I'm given the timing, but okay. Which one of these are you? You little. I don't know what to call you actually. What do I call you?
You could call me your dad.
No. He was a lot nicer.
Really? That's interesting.
Tegan's just getting real close to him, kind of like checking him out, making sure he's good, waving his hand in front of his eyes.
Hey, Zeph, why don't you just put the ring down? I don't want anything else. I don't want to get hit by anyone else.
Yeah. I'll put down this. I'll put both items down actually.
I definitely know what it feels like if it makes you feel any better.
What, to get
Man.
hit by your own friend?
No, to have voices in your head.
Oh. My bad.
Well, that person or whatever, definitely a very rude individual.
So I think we take the dagger, we leave the ring, because the dagger's nice, and it's dark still. That ring and the dagger combined makes you hear stuff?
I mean,
Okay.
I don't
maybe
mind just use stuff without
them
knowing it.
separated, right?
I wish
Maybe
had
we
something
maybe
like
we should
that.
experiment with whether or not like wrapping it in cloth or something
Maybe.
would.
I think we should keep them separated. So keep the ring on one person, keep the dagger on another, and see if that changes anything. So I'll grab the ring and see if anything affects me.
Some saving throw.
Ooh, not good. Not good.
Harris Willow, House Willow, what other nerdy secrets you have in here? Let me see.
Seems to be probing and digging through your mind, looking for answers as it does.
Ooh, send here you were. Quest. Investigate, yes. Well, seem to find ourselves at an impasse. Ooh.
Impasse,
Yes.
What do you
See.
want? What do you want with this place?
Ooh, no. I'm not telling you shit. What I can guarantee you is reading your thoughts. Mm. You continue on your trek. And you tell them that I have brought you to Prince Grawl Stonefist.
Do you want me to continue going down your mine and wiping out your friends?
No, no, no. No need for needless bloodshed anymore.
So, out of character, I have no clue what he's asking me to do.
He's saying surrender.
Oh, is that what he's asking? Okay. Yeah, well, that's not gonna happen.
You're looking for answers, aren't you? Well, you'll get your answers.
Alright, well, I'll talk to you later, and I'll drop the ring.
No,
Yeah, don't pick that thing up. That thing is useless. I'm pretty sure he, I got karma because he read my mind, so...
Mm.
Who's he?
How did that feel?
The little shit we killed. But, how did it feel? I mean, the thing is, because of, being able to hear people's thoughts and stuff kind of since a kid, it's not as intrusive for me as you would think. So, it's not as intrusive to me as I'm sure to like others. It feels like a super violation. For me, it's just a annoyance.
How is the dead thing speaking through a ring?
I think it was more like the ring speaking through a dead thing. Or something to that effect, I don't know.
Maldor
Yeah.
kicks the dead body into the puddle of stuff.
Just back in.
Everyone stand back. I have an idea.
Alright.
You don't gotta tell me twice.
He picks up the ring.
Roll wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom.
Yep.
you have more defenses this time. Not going to hit your friend.
It's fucking crowded in here. You should be careful where you poke. Quiet. I'm talking.
Seems like you have two things. I see two minds. It's very peculiar. I can help you with that, you know.
I can help you too. Can you see what I see?
Yep.
Maldor pulls out a torch. And he holds it over the corpse. I told you you should surrender. And he lets it go.
Okay, I let it go as you do see this large explosion happen. Very specific and strategic. It seems to be similar in the same as the explosion of the actual bridge. Just kind of implodes upon itself. The vapors alight, essentially. Kind of forms this large burst of energy. Many of you are blown back. No damage, just really no kind of debris that it would kind of send in a velocity, right? So no projectiles that it's kind of going off, but it does leave a little bit of a kind of a crater-ish thing as those projectiles kind of come upwards and then fall down, kind of raining a little bit.
It's
It's the
more of a
body.
concussive thing.
Yeah, it's more of a concussive blast, a thunderous blast. It's the best way you can understand that this thing is what it's doing. And it's like the same thing with the bridge, right? It's kind of a very strategic kind of blow. Or explosion. So as the body blows into chunks, right? Multiple pieces. The voice still is there. Doesn't say anything about what you just did. Doesn't know.
Hey, Maldor.
Yes.
What if you took the ring and threw it into the lava below?
My precious.
What if whatever that weird creature was being controlled by the entity through the ring?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
I suspect the body we just burned does not belong to the person speaking through this ring. So I'm going to focus inward and try to quiet the cackling and cursing and just general unpleasantness that's going on inside his head.
Okay.
So how much further in are you? What is your name? With whom do I speak?
You want my name? Tell me yours.
I am Maldor Gentile of the Plain of Helm,
No.
warrior of the Plains of Elysium, champion of the Astral Sea, destroyer of the spawns of chaos, and
What?
you will answer me.
Ah, that's just so annoying. So many titles. How do you remember all that? It's just so confusing. No, I want the name of the other one.
What other one?
What do you call this other person?
My name is Get Fucked!
I like this one. This one's good.
I'm coming for you, you little bitch.
Ooh. Salty, are we?
Oh.
As I was saying, who are you? Where are you? And what do you want?
You can call me V. That sounds good.
Not sure. I can respect that.
Good. You and your companions, friends? Not really. Not according to the Varus one. Not exactly quite yet. We've been together for very long. But yet you come in here. Together. So peculiar. You seek questions. The answers to these questions. I can give you these answers if you simply go through. And I will get you an audience with Prince Grawl Stonefist.
You are offering a peaceful parley. As you have seen, we are quite capable.
More like an arrangement I foresee being profitable for both parties. Yes.
That is what I suggested before I killed all your comrades.
Oh, well, it is the deed of Grawl Durgar to die with honor. And they did.
They
must-
died screaming.
But you see now you have played your hand. We now know what you all are capable of.
You know some of what we are capable of.
Yes.
Do not make the mistake of underestimating us again.
Ah, you're just so much bravado. Is there really a brain in here?
It's crowded.
I'm
We
not-
will speak with your Prince Grawl in an effort to avoid any unwanted. No, fuck it, kill them all, little fuckers. Shut up. We will speak with your Prince Grawl in an effort to secure, as you say, a profitable transaction that avoids unnecessary bloodshed. I suspect continuation of the violence would only lead to war, and that serves no one. And frankly, I did not sign up to fight someone else's war.
Yeah.
Begins to hum.
In that case, we will proceed shortly, and we will see you soon. Or make your arrangements with your prince. Be warned, if you cross me, I will kill every single one of you. And you will all die screaming. Shut it. And I'm just going to toss the ring on the ground.
Ah,
It seems he wishes to parley with us. I don't trust him, but it would be wise on their part to avoid further bloodshed. They know what we're capable of.
The only problem is I'm pretty tapped as far as magical ability goes.
Yeah,
I need
no,
I need a rest for a
we
bit.
should rest and prepare before we catch ourselves in
Yeah.
a tight spot.
Okay.
Those barrels in the tent, are they a manageable size? Like, could we bring one along with us, or are they like too heavy? Like, we'd have to be carrying that and doing nothing else.
They are there.
Roll them.
You could there are heavy. You could try to roll like what was stated if you wanted. I mean, it's not something that you couldn't sling over your shoulder and just go with. The issue is going to be the fact that the height of the potential tunnel that you see, right? You're going to have to you won't be able to carry over your shoulder and hunch down at the same time. Rolling also could be, again, an option, but to risk it being
Breaking the
hitting
barrel.
something and breaking
Yeah, that's okay.
could be very disastrous. Yeah.
Before we get into a rest, I'm gonna walk up to Maldor and be like, "Hey, man, no hard feelings for the accidental stabbing. I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't.
You mean the near decapitation?
Maldor
Look-
gives
Look,
Varys
Carl,
a very
Shut
knowing
up.
look and just says, "You do have my apologies for that, and know that I would never hold the inner thoughts of another against them. I'm all too familiar with the depth of things that can exist in one's mind."
I mean, I don't dislike any of you, if that's what he told you. I just don't know y'all that well.
Wow, that's
Didn't
really
suggest
touching.
anything.
But yeah, I don't hold the hit against you. I know
I
it
don't
wasn't
like you, but I don't not like you.
Okay, so if we are going to rest, I suggest we take watch of that tunnel.
Well, we can put our backs to the tent and just watch the tunnel while we rest.
Yeah, we just take shifts, I think.
And
Okay.
just as a note, the dark vision and see invisibility will both expire too after that too, because they're only both an hour. So
But my mage armor stays up.
yep.
So you're
So we're talking
your short
rest or long
rest is what.
Yeah, what a rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you get
Sure.
anything back for short rest?
Some people
I
do.
get spell slots back. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Next level, I get my Bardics back, but I don't get them right now.
And Michael, question. I know I think it's an unofficial rule in the DMG, but do you do the short rest, identify magic items during a short rest thing?
I do not. No, I don't do identify magic items with short rest. I do it with a long rest though.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So if you
So
if you
I'm
don't
get-
have anybody with identify, you can figure out an
Yeah.
item just by resting with it. A long rest.
Because I'm gathering from the conversations we've had with the individual that he's not in the ring. He's just communicating and controlling through it from somewhere else.
No.
That's no. So my first impression was right.
Your first impression is right. Yep. So no one's taking the ring. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I
Apparently
dropped
on
it
the
on the
ground, I
ground.
believe.
Yeah.
Just on the ground. Okay.
I don't think I get anything on the rest, but I'll okay.
Is it when it makes skin contact that the effect takes place? Like if we wrap it up in some cloth and take it with us, is it gonna still have the same effect?
You'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think anybody tried that yet.
Yeah.
Well, Varus, you seem to not care whether or not he is in your mind, so you want to try it?
Just because I don't really feel violated doesn't mean I'll want him there. But I mean, I'll do it. I'll
Never
wait
know
till.
what it'll do.
I mean, I can also do it because he didn't seem to be able to affect me, other than knowing me. But
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, think of like a plan or something, and he can read all my thoughts.
he could probably still hear us talking, though.
Maybe.
I don't know if it gains us any benefits other than being able to talk back to him if we so choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'll either me or Zeph, you want to do it?
Sure.
Okay. I mean,
what about
I'll
the
do it.
what about the dagger? I don't know if there's supposed to be a set, or somebody wants to take it separate. Or I don't know.
I don't really use those, so I don't know. Does somebody that uses weapons want the dagger?
I
I
mean,
mean, they did seem to be a set, at least in terms of magical ability. But I don't know how that affects. I don't know how this whole thing works, to be honest.
Well, maybe you hold on to it then. If you're gonna take
Sure.
the ring.
Okay.
Could also use it as a gift for the man whose house you blew up.
I don't think there's anything we can give him that'll make him any happier than he already is.
That's a positive way to put it.
I guess I'll stash the ring and dagger then.
Okay. Stashing the ring and dagger, the voice comes through once more, even without holding it in your hand, just having it on your possession. Make a wisdom saving.
And Zeph kills us all in our sleep.
Listen, if you hear the geezer, just throw it in the lava. we don't.
16.
I see. Well, hello.
Hello. I just kind of sigh internally.
Where are we going?
That way.
Where is that way?
That way.
What are you in? Did you get fucked, my stupid? Is that something that you did?
No, but that's what you sound like you have.
No.
We just need to hold on to this call me daddy ring just for the comedic value.
Yeah.
Did you
Well,
all
if
take
everyone
me up on my offer?
Oh, with the whole surrender ourselves bit?
Yes.
Go fuck off.
Ah, feisty, are we?
It's gonna be a long trip.
We've all rested at this point, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
now we're at Specify. Nothing
Okay,
is coming out
ready
of
to
the
go?
tunnel.
Let's continue our way. Making our way.
Very well. Let's.
Alright.
The deal seemed to be that they would not attack us, specifically to Tegan. Maldor said that the entity said that we could refer to him as V. Perhaps we need to instruct the ones that we run into first that we are here on his behalf to seek audience with Prince Groll. They will probably still attack us, but it's worth a shot.
Hey, if it keeps javelins from hitting me, then it's worth a shot.
You haven't gotten hit by javelins in a long time, friend.
The first time was traumatic enough.
Lucar killed the squid head thing with the javelin last
Yes. Yes, in honor
I'm
of your
very thankful.
pincushion past.
Okay, so as you are now progressing forward, you kind of go through the land bridge, and then you see a similar tunnel in design to the previous one you've gone through, and so you have to duck down. It's nice and wide, so you're able to kind of begin to progress through, and the light itself ends, right? So the dark vision that was provided by Zeph at this point has subsided, and it kind of continues into the darkness at a gradual descent. So you're descending down gradually. And sometimes there's really natural kind of formations as you might kind of teeter a little bit and more have a very vigorous degrade, right? A very vigorous descent at times. You can have to shuffle yourself, and just showcasing the fact that these particular creatures use maybe natural formations in their guidance of where they're going, and they're kind of dictating through. So there's like pockets, maybe a cavern that you can actually stand up in a little bit, and then maybe going back into the tunnel and ducking down. And throughout all of this, you're noticing there's heavy traffic. So, and the actual kind of flooring, many different boot prints, much traffic has been traversed across the space and has been relatively undisturbed beyond that, right? So just the boot prints and things. Now, is that you're still holding the ring, right, or have it in your possession?
Or yeah, it's in a pouch, but yes.
Yeah. So during this entire time, this individual has just been humming in your mind, just the entire way, and it seems to be very intentional to like get on your nerves, like to try and attempt to just annoy you into oblivion. And they continue to probe, but your saving throw withstands, and so you're able to kind of form the barriers within your mind a little bit. And after time, just being with the individual, you yourself have now built a relationship that you're tuning it out. So you're able to now, after taking the last hour of travel through this tunnel, hearing the humming, you're able to kind of slowly begin to dissipate that kind of voice that's coming through, getting more control, I should say, over it, right? Since you're taking more time, particularly with the effect. So after the hour passes by, light begins to kind of emerge, and the tunnel itself begins to kind of open up in a similar fashion as it did to the previous area. I'm going to go ahead and activate this, and I'm going to pause it to give a description of what you see. So bright light scatters about in this distance as the tunnel ceiling increases to about 30 feet. Slopes on either side leave about 3 feet of space between them and the ceiling as the tunnel transforms into a cavern. The ceiling kind of increases to just a dramatic 120 feet, and the light from a slow-moving lava river that flows from north to south brightens that all up, so you can actually see the natural formations. And now in the cavern, you can see it's not just like this darkened granite with stalagmite pillars every so often, but there's little pockets of geodes of crystals, right, kind of purplish and kind of amethyst, and so these other little kind of things are kind of pocketing that, and that's only refracting further the light, so it's providing more light as it's kind of bouncing it off of the ceiling. In the distance to the north is a large cliff with the lava freely pouring over it, about 100 feet. So yes, actually kind of forming a lava fall, right? So you can see the lava kind of cresting down, and that's hitting and then splashing off. So there's an area there of cooling that's rapid cooling, so it's building up more rock over time. And that helps make the actual trench that the river is fitting into, right? Building up the walls that surround that. The cavern ceiling seems to close on top of it, right? So it's really just like a tunnel as the cavern ceiling just kind of crests and moves over it and forms that tunnel as it goes through. To the south, the lava pools in a large lake, filling a vast void of heating and cooling and additional, right? So you can see that to the south as it begins to open up, and it's just this large expansive area where it's now cooling down and filling and cooling down. Several large cavern pillars protrude to support the large ceiling height. Within the lava river, a piece of cavern high enough to not be submerged connects with the adjacent cavern floor. It seems the lava flows underneath at certain points. Two smooth and bricked stone towers, these ones not actually made out of stalagmites, but they're actually more bricked at this point, forming the squared off corners. They stand the same distance, about 10 feet, and they do have slight crenules about 3 feet higher than that, providing half cover to the individuals that are behind them. In the darkness, you can just make out the shapes, even without dark vision or extension of dark vision. Zeph, you yourself can really make, I would imagine, this out. Let me see your dark vision, just to make sure. Yeah, okay. And there's enough light as well in this space that you should be able to see them. Awesome. That there are two kind of large black marbled, more like an obsidian, maybe a pumice, kind of dwarven statues, and they stand about, or dwarvish statues, and they stand about 30 feet in height. And they don't have any facial features or whatnot. They're really plain. And then in either side, they kind of reside on either side of a staircase that seems to descend. So you can see the buildings of the staircase and a little bit of the shadows, and it kind of drops and protrudes into the earth underneath the actual cavern wall that's there. it seems just from the observations and what you're kind of seeing and what is happening in this particular area, that again, it's forming in a natural geological formation as a potential traversable point that they can use to go further towards the Harak line. Not saying that they've used this to go north or south, right? They're just kind of using this to kind of traverse in a pocket here, and it definitely resembles this of like sentry towers, potentially, of just an observational kind of area. The voice continues to hum. Again, this figure does not seem to have perceptions about the outside world or things, and so it's continuing to hum. But Zephyr, now you kind of put that off, and I've unpaused it. You're currently in the position you are, and these creatures have yet to notice you or see you. They just start kind of holding crossbows and kind of position looking. They're on alert though. They have them out, and they are looking towards the particular tunnel which you are walking out of.
So everyone can see them fine because of the light from the lava, right? But they can't see us because we're outside their.
Does not seem like they see you. Yep, you're in the darkness technically. They are, and that's too far apparently. You can see that immediately. They're not raising, not firing at you, just holding at the ready, looking in your direction, but have yet to respond.
Oh, they don't know we're here, obviously. I mean, I'm sure they're prepared for us because of the person that escaped, but still.
And
Yeah,
they
why
know
don't you
we're
ask
coming.
V what we're supposed to do now?
Yeah, V. Knowing humming entity. We're at the staircase. So what now?
Just approach and say that, V. Actually, you know what? Give them the ring. How about that?
How about no?
Ah, why?
Well, you think how in the world is that supposed to be a good idea?
Just trying to heal. Meet you halfway. Hold the ring out. And say V brings you to Prince Scrawl Stonefist.
Well, to the party, Mr. Blubbermouth here, well, he wants us to give. His first option would be for us to give the ring to one of the guards, but if not that, then hold him up and then say that we're here, or that he brought us to Stonefist.
Yeah, I would suggest we never go with his first recommendation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think parlaying might be the way to go here. So if you wanna hold out the ring.
Yeah, stay a step behind myself and Lucar, I would say, but present the ring and tell them we're here.
Sure. And also, Mulder, I'll go ahead and, just in case, I'll go ahead and give you another vigilant blessing for initiative advantage.
Nice.
So we're gonna approach now. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
slowly and calmly.
Which, by the way, since we know they've done this, I don't know if they would do it here since it's not a bridge, but since we know they've done this trick before, as we go, can we look for signs that they may have dug and tried to, planted a trap or something?
Perceptions if you're actively looking for a similar thing with the land bridge. They've done.
Eh.
13. You don't see anything as you're beginning to exit out of the tunnel and go into the cavern. Crossbows begin raised, pointing in direction.
Hold your weapons.
Zeph, hold the ring, please.
I just hold it up between my thumb and index finger.
Begin to squint at it. One has a war horn currently getting ready to be blown. Lowering the crossbow
we
and
have-
stare.
Well, I don't know if this is his actual name, but he says he's V.
They look to each other. They look back.
Annoying magic wielder guy.
Tell him the part about how we're supposed to meet the prince.
Oh yeah, we're here to meet with, and this is V's suggestion. We're here to talk with Prince Stonefist.
Begin to talk to each other in their language. Options. The one without the horn, begins to walk down off the tower and slowly approaches, meets this way, and holds up the hand.
Hmm.
The other one has the horn ready to blow.
Can I ready in action?
They're not ready in action. We're not in combat.
Okay.
Also, that would only last 6 seconds anyway.
Yeah.
Two like 6'4", 6'5" people standing in front of this little
We-
dwarf.
We come in peace.
Who has the ring?
Oh, I still have it held up above my head.
Give me touch.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
We have come to parley with your prince, but we are not fools. Everyone in the cavern behind us lies dead. Let us not repeat that mistake.
That have died with honor. But we
They
will
died
die and do
screaming.
the same, but before that we were born. When you enter in, we'll kill you. We know
This
you're
can
coming.
be this can be a peaceful exchange. It does not need to be bloody. But it can be.
Why do you insist it? Just let me touch and speak to.
I don't think he's saying give it to him. He's just saying touch it so I can talk with the guy.
Maldor will just look to the party like he doesn't want to be the only one to make that decision. He just
Zeph,
doesn't like being given
Do
demands.
what you think to do. You're the master of the ring.
Tegan just shrugs and says, "Fuck it."
My precious.
Sure, because I don't see any other way out of this other than combat. So
Yeah,
I'll kind of just,
I'll say yeah, stay behind us and just reach through.
yeah, I'll kind of reach between
Around the meat shields.
yeah, I'll reach between Lucar and Moldar.
If he
Puff
twitches,
Keeping a
my
firm
chest
grip on the-
intimidatingly.
Keeping a firm,
Yeah.
keeping a firm grip closed as you're holding the ring. You can extend outwards. You're kind of maybe. Do I open the palm right to actually touch the ring? Immediately, kind of snaps. This gray dwarf immediately snaps and just places the hand overlapping your fist, just touching you. Is all that this creature required. Just immediately closes, and you see slowly. It's talking. So, similar fashion. Pulls up the hand, clutches.
Show these two Malrim flame belch at the corridor. Do the same. If not, you will die.
Slowly turns, gets back onto the tower, grabs the crossbow. Lifts the lip.
Proceed.
I don't like this one, but
I don't either.
It's an adventure.
it's something.
you don't have a voice in your head screaming at you to murder everything down here.
Maybe that's what.
No, but I do have a little voice in my head screaming that these guys are very annoying.
I keep going over people.
So are these statues we're seeing in front of us here?
30
30
foot
foot tall.
Can I examine these real quick just to
Sure.
see if I see any discernible features?
Again, going through the description of what I provided, there is not any distinguishing features about them. They have no.
Gotcha.
There's no eyes. There's no nose. There's no lips. It's just kind of a head shape, right? That's over. It's finely chiseled. It's finely crafted, but it's very intentional that they left out these things, right? And they're just kind of
Yeah, like
clutching
this-
themselves as they kind of
Does
bend down
the
slowly.
material resemble Darksteel at all?
No, it seems to be kind of a obsidian is a good way to.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing the answer is yes, but does it seem like that these have been carved from a single piece of rock?
Correct.
Okay.
They found like a deposit of obsidian and they've kind of honed it down.
Sweet.
Because they don't. Maybe they find beauty in rock, not crystal.
There's
mean,
no point. There's no point in art without gemstones.
Well, I can
Isn't
assume-
a big rock basically a big gemstone?
I mean, yeah, but we can get. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know how. I don't have all the knowledge. You're going underneath. No, don't move anymore. No, just kidding. Yeah, so you're going on this staircase. You descend down. I'm going to describe to you exactly what it is you're looking at. So, the descent is a long journey through darkness. The air becomes thin, staunched. The rough cavern walls gradually turn smooth and well chiseled. At various intervals, there are boreholes drilled for ventilation, and in these same holes, there are drips. Streams of water are actually coming through, potentially runoff. This elaborate structure potentially providing air this far down, and water and moisture has found its way in. The elaborate staircase delves in the direction of southeast for nearly an entire hour again as you're traversing. Time itself at this stage becomes difficult, if you will. I'm going to go and activate another map. Pause. As each section has been designed in a way to be a specific interval of travel through the rock, potentially noting that they have to take time to regather themselves. They don't want to be too far in certain areas, right, and have too much distance. And so it seems that these intervals of time are very strategic in how they've developed this place. The staircase itself is about 20 feet tall in its ceiling. It occupies a 20-foot space. There are ramparts on either side. Smooth stone has been kind of chiseled out of the rock as it descends down, and the staircase is kind of towards the center. Kind of giving that idea that if they're moving large pieces of material, they go by sleds instead. And they kind of pull it along the ramparts themselves to get to the other areas with the larger kind of materials. They don't try to drag it up the staircase and whatnot. Now, this is perfectly, you can walk upright, right? You're moving, you feel good, right? You've been in the cramped tunnels for the entire journey, getting exhausted. But this is nice, it's comfortable. Staircases are really well built. And it's showcasing that this is a structure that has been here for a longer time, and much longer than the previous structures they've used from the natural formations. As you approach, coming into this space, you can see the faint kind of glow, familiar glow of lava, right? It's the same glow that you've seen in the distance. The corridor becomes wide, encompasses kind of two of these 10-foot tall stone towers built and bricked in a similar fashion as the other ones at that checkpoint. The lava flows underneath the section corridor and appears to be covered by a metallic grate embedded into the framework of stone and bedrock. You can hear voices talking as the echoes, right? It's loud, and the voices themselves echo out. At this stage, continuing and finishing your descent, the drips subside. No longer there's running water as you're kind of finishing the staircase, and the boreholes kind of somewhat end. And the large shifting of armor is very apparent as well. Essentially, that there are a number of figures here in the corridor. Past the lava, even with your dark vision here, Zeph, of being able to see far, it just goes into darkness. And it doesn't degrade. There's no descent. It's just kind of a smooth path in the corridor, and this goes into the darkness, into the distance.
Once we go any further into this place, we are going to be brightly surrounded.
Crossbows raised, point towards.
Hold your weapons.
Zeph, hold up the ring, please.
Yeah, I don't want another gaping chest wound from a crossbow bolt.
I'll just like I did with the guard post. I'll be holding up the ring. Say, we're here with V.
You see others coming from behind, forming in formation, showcasing the individuals. One has stepped up upon the metal grate. This particular one appears to be a broad-shouldered and wide male gray dwarf. No hair on the head, bushy white beard flowing down to the waist, whereas a wields a war pick and shield is protected by
Hold here.
plate armor. Small cloth backpack sits on the back, and a leather satchel dangles from the side. This particular one speaks in common. Stop moving, or you will be fired on. Stench is disgusting.
Yes, you are.
Maldor just kind of looks at the rest of the party. It's getting harder to control. It would be best if I did not do most of the talking from now on.
Takes 10 feet back, stops, whispers to the individuals that are holding shields. They group and
All
form
right.
phalanx at the backside. Looks, whoever holds V, come forward.
Oh boy.
Any other
Right.
movement by any of you else will be met in death.
It's alright, Zeph. Got your
We're
back.
right here.
Continue
Here you go.
to me. Continue. God, it's taking so much time.
Uh,
I'm surprised. So afraid for such courage, tenacity in combat, for slaying my soldiers.
well, I'm not usually the one who's taking the hits.
Come here. Good. Now, give me the ring.
I'll just look back at the party first because I'm not making the decision.
You can do it.
Whatever, we've come this far.
Well, hey, kind of surprised you want to do over a crate over lava though. But yeah, I guess I'll hand over the ring. Why not?
Takes the ring and holds it. Looks towards you. Takes the ring, puts it within the satchel. My name is Commander Malrum Flamebelch.
It's an impressive name.
I am the commander of this stronghold and commander to Prince Grawl Stonefist.
Nice to meet you. I'm, Zeph.
Lay down your weapons.
I put down the
Remove
si-
your armor.
I put down the single dagger I have. Well, two actually. I have the Darksteel one too.
Points towards Varys. And that one will be gagged and tied.
Ooh. Maldor, I don't think this is a good idea anymore.
You're going to need to explain that one.
For such a
I'll just-
mighty fortress, you are so afraid that you're worried to let 5 individuals in with arms and armament. Are your soldiers so pathetic that they couldn't handle a threat from within?
Turns and looks.
Listen, Commander, what my friend is trying to say is, due to the hostile nature of your soldiers, we do not feel comfortable speaking to your leader without our equipment. This is merely a
Well,
precaution, not a declaration of violence.
You can continue to talk and put up whatever arguments you have. They will be met with the same result. This is what requires for you to seek audience with Prince Grawl Stonefist, and for your questions to be answered, and for a bargain to be arranged.
Weapons is one thing, but armor too?
That is
What
correct.
does that post?
I don't like it, but we've come this far.
I'm gonna in Luke Carr's mind because I know he can telepathically talk back. I'll say, listen. I think this is gonna end up being a fight because if we go in there unarmed, we're lambs to the slaughter.
I still have my talons
Maldor reluctantly
and my teeth.
and very slowly unsheathes his sword.
Telepathically, Lucar and Varys, you both hear Malrum. Your conversation will be kept in common. No talking within your mind.
He did that telepathically?
Correct.
Interesting. My curiosity says we should just go along.
Yeah, I lay down my sword, and
I just don't want to be
start to unbuckle
gagged. Ugh.
Who
I
knows,
mean, if
you might like
y'all
it.
want to do it, I'll go along.
I think we should. This is very interesting.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm not too concerned about having to kill some with my bare hands.
Tegan unclips his armor, throws it on the ground, tucks his rapier and his dagger inside.
We expect to get these back unscathed.
And so you will, if you follow the rules. There are no problems.
Can I incite him?
Feel free to upgrade mine.
Tegan just says, listen, these guys
What's that?
won't shut up about honor. I feel if they promise something, they'll withhold it.
Seems to be telling the truth and is honest.
Yeah. I mean, I know we don't like it, but I'm pretty sure as long as we don't act hostile first, we'll be fine.
They
Well-
seem more reasonable than the mushroom-headed one.
Let's get naked
Not me.
and gag
I don't wear
Varys.
Don't ever say that to me again, Lucar.
Don't ever. I don't want to be gagged.
Tegan walks forward with laying his armor and arms on the ground.
Maldor
He'll
just
walk
turns
over
to
with his
Varys
hands up.
and just says, if anything goes wrong, remember that I will always be one step in front of you.
Thank you.
Hands up. I got nothing on me, just my cloak.
Approach. Zeph, as you lay down your armaments, you begin to be fondled as you are patted down by Malrum. Go, pushes you past. Maldor, you're next. Pushes you past.
Airport security.
Tegan, you're next. Pushes you past. Lucar?
I was gonna go next, if that's okay.
Grabs you, pushes you to the side. Not yet.
God, I hate this guy so much.
Lets you
They're
proceed.
roughhousing the fucking little boy wizard.
I'm really glad I have a good dex. I still have
At
a
least
14
take me out to
AC.
dinner first.
Lie. One comes holding rope to begin to lash. Your hands at the backsides behind you, lashing your hands at the backside, they pull out a piece of leather with a kind of a cloth they're wrapping around. So they begin to tie it around your face and then
Come
sticking
on,
the actual
man.
gag
I
within
can't
your
do
mouth.
anything without my hands.
No verbal or somatic components, right? So that's essentially what they're limiting to. So you cannot spellcast at this stage, unless the
Tegan turns
spells
around and
don't
goes-
require those components.
Kinky.
These guys are pretty smart.
Pushes you past. After that happens, Malrum grabs a lever hidden within the rock of the right particular tower here, the top tower, pulls it as it does. The metal grate moves underneath the actual towers, revealing just the space of lava without a metal grate over top. Turns. Begins to yell out. Steps
Interesting.
forward. The 4 around. Move. They step forward and they continue to go down the corridor, keeping you all within the space. The small room takes the lead, moving you through. Okay. We don't need to continue to walk forward at this stage.
I'm looking forward to it.
No sense in doing that the entire way. That would be
I
a
don't
little,
feel immersed.
I can't even talk.
My immersion.
a little redundant. Just a
There's
little.
I'm so upset. There are 2 other spellcasters here, and I got gagged and tied up.
I'm pretty sure the only reason I'm not is because I'm
mean, this is
expected
out
to
of
be
game.
talking.
All right.
My bad. That was out of game. I'm upset. I'm back in game.
Well, yeah, it's got to be out of game. You can't talk.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
All right. So as you begin to go through, you enter in to a kind of, I would say it's not too much travel. It's roughly 20 minutes. I'll put it to the half hour, so it's not too crazy. I put on some sound effects, just basically what you're kind of hearing. I'm gonna lower a few of them so that way they're not incredibly loud, but it's more of like a backdrop of what you're kind of hearing here. So I'm gonna lower those sound effects to kind of a level that I would think that you're really kind of hearing them. So the corridor transitions from this dark kind of bedrock, right, that you've noticed in like kind of limestone-ish, right? And it goes, again, 20 minutes or so, and then this large chamber kind of embraces you as you're kind of walking through. 2 stone and rune-covered pillars support a 40-foot ceiling height. Stone staircases spiral around them, ascending into the darkness, so they continue upright. The corridor continues east out of the chamber. And you notice there's 2 stone doors on the north and south walls in this particular area that kind of lead into a different. They're metal reinforced. They have intricate craftsmanship to them. They definitely have handles. You are getting these sounds mainly coming from here. So in this particular chamber, as the corridor transitions, you're getting the voices, and it definitely sounds at least like 24 to 30 individuals talking, and they're from the chatter and what they're doing, it seems to be leisure. They're really kind of joking. There's a few boisterous laughters at times, and you're seeing some shadows move back and forth. There is enough lighting in some of the space, particularly here, that's kind of coming out of the door, but beyond that, there isn't much. If not, these creatures do not need light at all to be able to see normally, and so you're not getting any aid into that. So some of you are completely blinded at this point without light. All you're getting guided by is the particular creatures that refer to them as Duergar that are kind of on side, right, and kind of guiding you to the path. And it could be maybe intentional that they're not lighting a source for you to see and almost maybe blindfolding you surface dwellers, right, not being able to see the rest of what this potential structure is. Zaf, you have a large amount of dark vision, okay? So you're able to see and stretch through. The corridor itself continues past this particular chamber and then goes into another corridor that smashes into a large double metallic door that extends the entire height of the actual corridor, right, in the width. These large metal doors, not vault doors per se, but definitely enough to be locked by bar or some sort of kind of lever that can kind of come across, right? And there is a formation of quite a number of these particular creatures that are actually in formation, just holding themselves in posture and kind of just stretched upright, having war picks and shields, defending these particular creatures. That's not where you're headed. I'm going to go and unpause, just guiding you potentially of the staircase here. You're actually using the staircase right past this corridor into the chamber that you've entered into, and you're going ascending that up. So you're actually not even walking into the remainder of what's here. You're just going upright. Okay. At this stage, is anybody rolling perceptions to make out any more details or anything that they would like to see?
Well, knowing I'm the only one that really seeing the entirety of what we're seeing here, I'm basically trying my best to drink in every detail.
Go ahead and roll perception then.
Yeah, I assume I can't see shit, so
Yeah.
maybe no point.
Zeph 21, it definitely feels like this is where the hammering is coming from. Eventually is a smith or an armory of some kind. Here there is no lights, but you're seeing shadows and movement, other sorts of things coming to. You also hear the adorning of armor, potentially an armory, right?
Barracks.
So you're kind of have a barracks maybe, where individuals are getting kind of fitted and whatnot. And here it definitely seems the 21, this is a dining hall, just by the chatter and the noise. Seems to be large and expansive going north and south, particularly that opening up, right? And just from that, there must be more about that particular area. But again, your sight lines are blocked, right? Particularly with the walls, these smooth kind of chiseled walls that have really built this particular area up. Now you're ascending the staircase, only getting that one perception check. I'm going to go ahead and activate that, getting you on to another level as you come upwards and ascend. The rooftop of this particular area is slightly lower, so you're coming into the area here of the chamber, which is about 30 feet or so of the actual ceiling, with statues in the corner. And again, there's another staircase that ascends, and the stone pillars continue through the actual floor, right, and support this particular chamber's ceiling height. And as you begin to walk forward, you now have entered into another kind of chamber, and you see a staircase ascending towards the south, going into the darkness as it climbs to the actual 60 feet vaulted ceiling height of this particular chamber, with a central stone pillar that comes up slightly a little bit larger and neatly ornate with these kind of runes, right? Dwarvish in nature, but not dwarvish. And Malram is leading you to a single door. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag your tokens over, leading you towards a stone and metal reinforced door with no hinges exposed and no handle. Two of these creatures are on either side of it. Also going to subside the crowd noise as well as the smith shop, since we're kind of leaving that. And there's no noise really up here at all besides kind of a slight maybe ventilation from some boreholes, so some kind of whistling of wind maybe of some kind. Beyond that, nothing else. Malram begins to speak in a language that none of you understand. Kind of does a motion, turns and looks. The rest kind of begin to kind of separate just a little bit, just getting some distance, and they begin to turn. Kind of not more like surrounding at this point, but spacing out a little bit more. And Malram talks to the creature right next to it, Mr. Ugar, who in turn grabs the stone, like just puts the full face palm onto the stone and just smacks it. Claps it. Doing that, you hear shuffling and movement in the walls. So shuffling and movement happens, you hear levers and gears operated, and the door moves and opens inward, revealing a tight, very, very shallow width corridor with a ceiling height of a roughly 8 feet. Malram speaks in common. Proceed.
I like your anti-invasion tunnel.
Yeah, as I walk past him too, can I like telepathically send him a message and just ask him if all of his people are telepathic?
Speaks to you. Only the ones that are well trained to the tactics of our ancestors.
Impressive.
I knock.
You knock.
Malram steps in. As soon as Malram steps in, the door shuts with levers being operated. Interior wall space to the north and south, you hear movement shifting of the actual smooth rock. You're noticing there's little tiny grooves and slits within the rock, and their eyes looking up. These rocks are just big enough potentially of shoving a spear or a javelin through, and they're kind of looking in the direction. Many of the eyes, as they do, more gears and things begin to be moved, and the door in front of you unlocks or opens.
How does
right
it feel to be in a murder box?
So swings.
Murdery.
Move.
I feel like a crow.
As you step into the space, you see as soon as you come in, for some of you without dark vision, this is incredibly difficult to see. I'm going to go ahead and forego the description of this particular space after the conversation between Malrum. Malrum comes up to a staircase just in front, kneels down upon the staircase and bends the head, clasps the head, taps 2 times and raises the fist upright, holds the palm outstretched. Speaks the language you don't understand. As it does. Reaches into the satchel, holds the ring outright, sets it upon the floor, does not approach the throne. After that happens, you see movement shifting, figure upon the actual throne, holds up the actual hands. You see 2 of the figures to the north and south use light. So now that we are lit up, I'm going to give a description. So, black marbled floor works itself into a staircase that rises roughly 3 to 3.5 feet up to a greenish marbled floor and a stone throne bejeweled in gemstones and riddled with different pieces of intricacies. Gold itself and other things don't scatter about. Again, it's just a solid stone throne that, with these gems, it kind of brightens and illuminates and creates this a little bit of a mosaic effect. The figure that actually sits here on the throne itself is a sturdy and stocky male gray dwarf. There is white hair and it flows freely into a single braid down to the mid-back. Twin braided thick beard flowing to the chest. The eyes are black and vicious. There are many scars upon the face and neck. Covered in a dark stained plate armor, wields a mithril warhammer and a blackish iron shield, both of which are to the left and to the right, just leaning upon the throne. A black cloth belt goes around the waist and carries a few purses. Gem and jeweled rings adorn the fingers. And then around the neck is a gold necklace with an odd white gemstone. Hands are currently there, right, just outstretched a little bit, sitting upon the throne to guide 2 figures to the north and south of you that are near adjacent to the pillars supporting the ceiling height of roughly 20 feet. 2 statues flank by 2 potential kind of soldiers, if you will, that are either side of the door. That door shuts and seems to lock with gears and mechanisms, potentially from interior spaces. Now, seeing with light, you notice there are 2 doors here and here that are metal reinforced, particularly potential tunnels or corridors going into that interior wall space that you've just kind of entered through. And then there is another door here. This one is not necessarily reinforced with metal. It's just a polished stone door with kind of a little bit of a groove to maybe push it in and out. The figures that are here, they seem to be of similar kind of coloration of this albino kind of paleness of dwarf. They wear blackish robes with golden kind of accents, and the goldish or kind of shoulder pads that kind of come down. The fist itself of the symbol of the clan Stone Fist is actually embroidered within a kind of a reddish, whitish stitching upon it. They both have quarterstaffs with these blackish orbs that are fit within the grooves of a mushroom stalk as it curls over the orbs, and that is what they use to light up as they tap the staffs into the ground. Beyond that, they have dreads, so the actual hair themselves is dreaded as it forms all the way down to where their kind of waist would be, and then it's kind of braided together and tied off with kind of brooches or like circlets, right? So kind of intricate golden things. And they're showcasing that these dwarves are clean shaven and they're a little bit more proper. So they're upright, they don't wear heavy armor, they're kind of holding themselves still in posture and just staring at you all as you kind of funnel and approach. As Malrum finishes the kneel, stands up a little bit. As it does, Malrum speaks in common. I introduce you to Prince Grawl Stonefist.
I'll kneel, but
I'll kneel as well.
Grawl Stonefist, 7th in his family. Born in the royal stronghold in Yulinja to King Thom Stonefist. Sees
Greetings, Your Majesty.
Prince Earl Stonefist stands out of the throne, steps forward, moves forward just once more, leaves the Mithril Warhammer and the shield behind. Goes down, picks up the ring and holds it, clutches it in the hands. V tells me that you all are here to ask questions. Particularly to what we are doing and why. That is very interesting.
Your Majesty, we don't wish you or your people any ill will. We were merely sent here to investigate. The previous encounters were merely a misunderstanding that ended very poorly, and the lives that were lost were tragic, and I am sorry.
My soldiers died with honor.
Yes, they did. They fought in defense of their lord, and that is a very noble way to go.
Approach.
I stand up off the knee and I begin to ascend the stairs. And as I'm walking up, when I was kneeling, my arm was like behind my back, touching the war gong on my back, feeling the gem, because, well, the situation seemed all too familiar, so I'm trying to, like, keep myself composed as I'm talking.
Same feeling overcomes you as you approach. The desire for what lies within the amulet around the neck of this particular figure. Lowers the hand down with many jeweled rings, one of which is a signet ring, the clan Stonefist symbol, golden ring, the intricate ruby gem etched with the symbol of clan Stonefist, lowers it to you to kiss it.
I do.
Do not think me a fool. Surface dwellers like to use words, try to manipulate, to deceive. Your words will be met with honesty. You speak in kind. Any deceit, and you will die.
Understood.
Now my guests. Puts the hand to push you back. Rotates, sits upon the throne.
Maldor just kind of turns to Tegan and just kind of quietly just says, if we could secure a trade deal between them and the surface, we might put an end to all the violence.
I'll try my best. Obviously, we need to have these negotiations go well. Your Majesty, once again, I hope you forgive our intrusion and listen to our words. As I said before, we were sent here to investigate the disturbance in the mine that led to multiple encounters with your people. If you do not mind me being forward, as I am, what are your intentions with entering the mine?
We are guided by one who seeks to put stop to the operation. We are aligned according to V, traitor.
Didn't he say traitor?
Mm-hmm.
Your Majesty, are you saying V is this traitor, or
No.
would you care to elaborate? I apologize.
Voltak is one with many talents. He is what my kind refers to as a sage. Your tongue, loosely translated. The soul and the mind, they occupy bodies. What you have killed is merely a mutated form. Voltak has lived for over 1,700 years. Has served your family for much time.
For the sake of canon, just out of character, is there any check I would make to see if Tegan knows anything about what a phylactery would be?
I think you would know that this is not a phylactery. It's not like
Okay.
somebody being reincarnated and their soul being put into a body. It's more of a transference of mind, since this particular
Right.
figure. This particular figure is not bound to a body anymore. Its mind itself seems to be remote, and it's connected, particularly now, given that conversation with the prince, to the ring. In some way.
Your Majesty, I wish to ask, is there any specific reason why you want the miners to stop their operation? Is it a matter of territory or a matter of principle?
It is not a matter of either. It is a matter of what must be done for the good of Yolinja. Clan Stonefist must be preserved. Bargain will be as follows. You all will bring me the head, the one called Duke Umbrian Rillo. In exchange, you will be able to traverse through the Frosthorn Pass unharmed.
Your Majesty, forgive me for speaking on your belongings, but you and the Duke share a very similar adornment around your necks. Does this have something to do with your grudge with him?
This is a stone I found surrounded by 37 dead individuals in combat. Kept it as a trophy of war. Nothing more.
You don't know of any significance of what it is or where it came from?
Just give it be luck. That is all I care.
Do you have any interest in its origins, or merely a trophy?
As far as what the Duke wears, I have never met this Duke.
And why does he want him dead?
You say that out loud, Lucar?
Yeah.
Traitor must be perished. V has probed this one's mind. And understood that this Duke has not stopped you from entering my operations.
Who is he a traitor to?
Perhaps the conversation will happen after the deed is done.
You can't expect us to kill a man with no information.
Especially a Duke.
Forgive my companions, Your Highness. There are certain implications due to our origin as surface dwellers that would make our lives very difficult if we were to carry this out without good reason.
It is V's understanding that none of you have arrived in Harak by normal means. Is it not your wish to leave?
Well, sure. By just killing a guy?
It is. Is he also implying that the caravan disappearances and attacks are carried out by his people?
Your Majesty, this grudge you have with the Duke.
It is not a grudge. It is simply the two of us serving the same.
Is he aware of your society?
This one has overstepped its bounds. The Duke must be killed.
What bounds is that?
It sounds as if he was in service to Voltac and did something that that entity did not like.
Like, in what way has Arillo betrayed anyone? 'Cause
Steps up. Walks forward. By not killing you all.
was he supposed to?
Arillo was to ensure no one would interfere.
Wait, does Arillo serve someone else?
Arillo has
Then-
failed. Bring me the head. I will not say it again.
Still attached to the body or separate?
Do with what you will.
If I may ask a question, then, because as it mentioned before, just going up to the guy and killing him to our people would be bad, especially if we didn't have reason that they knew of. Do you know of a way that we could convince the others around Arillo that there is a good reason?
Surface dwellers. You come and you kill my soldiers without much reason at all beyond what? They were in there
in your mind. So you killed them.
We did attempt to parley first.
And then, after the fact, you took up a quest to investigate why we were doing what we did. And you proceeded to kill. Without much
Again,
reason.
After attempting to parley.
Merely because your words were not met with conversation does not give you entrance. As if you walked into someone's house, knocked onto the door, and they opened the door, you, just because you were not allowed in, you kill them.
Maldor says more to the party than anybody else. There is a larger concern here. Even if we were to eliminate Arillo, the miners would continue their work. He is inconsequential to the function of the town, as far as I can see. This conflict will stay unresolved. I have no love for the man. I'm less concerned with the morality of killing one man over 1,000 dwarves than I am solving the problem at hand. If perhaps eliminating him guaranteed the workers their ability to carry on doing what they were doing unimpeded, or some deal could be struck as a function of that bargain, then perhaps it would suit everyone involved a bit more appropriately.
I mean, my main concern, I mean, there's many concerns, but the main one is that even if we killed him, I think we would be hard pressed to prove we weren't just killing him and weren't just murderers. Like we were, everyone else would just, we would be basically wanted men, I would think.
To be fair, we kind of already were, by someone.
When it comes to killing a surface dweller, you cannot find reason. I find this astonishing.
I mean, given enough time, maybe, but we don't know the man. We don't know what he's done or hasn't done.
According to V, didn't take much time to kill my soldiers.
They were presenting
Your
an active
Majesty.
threat.
I'm gonna, in my mind, talk to the prince and be like, "Can someone take this gag off of me so I can speak?"
I believe my compatriot here wishes to speak if he could.
That's a hell of a hunch.
He's just been over there going,
Approaches.
No, I
removes
haven't
your
said
gag.
anything.
After removing the gag, slowly steps back.
Listen, the problem with what you're asking us to do is that we live in the surface. We do not live down here. Our lives do not revolve around here. We kill this duke, we're wanted men. It affects our lives the rest of time. We need evidence. We need some reason to kill this man. We're not saying we won't. We're not saying we're not able to, that our conscience won't allow us. We need evidence to bring back, because if we don't, we can't live our normal lives.
Let me, if I may ask another question, Prince. From our perspective on the surface, this would be equivalent to, say, one of your soldiers, as incomprehensible as this likely is. It would be equivalent to one of them just coming up to you and just killing or attempting to kill you because some outsider said to.
Your Majesty, what my friend is saying is, if we were to do this, as your men would punish the man who either killed or attempted to kill you, it would be the same scrutiny of the surface dwellers where we reside.
I care nothing for this man. I will kill him. If you give us your word that you will leave the miners and the people of that village unharmed and allowed to presume their activities and their caravans unmolested. That is the bargain.
See the two on the north and south, two mages snap down with the staff. As this bubble begins to move and dancing of rainbow, this bubble begins to fill the space around you. Holds of the hand. Finding excuses to kill this individual is not my problem. It is all of yours. Your rebuttal. Looks towards you, Maldor. Done.
Agreed.
The bubble collapses.
What
Moves
about
back
the
towards
mining,
the
by the
throne.
way?
Sits on. Shifts the hand. See Malrum begin to come over. We must depart. Malrum speaks.
Before we go, can we ask about some of the missing caravanners and prospectors? Are they alive?
Friend speaks. I do not know anything about missing prospectors. As far as the individuals in the caravans, they have been killed.
Thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Let's go kill a duke.
Prince, before we go, I assume, due to the nature of our agreement, the next encounter with your men will be a peaceful one.
That is
We-
all dependent on what you do.
As long as our intentions are met, we will not bring any harm upon your men.
Say a word. Continues to stare, waiting for you to depart.
Well, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm hungry.
Now Varys killed them all.
Yeah, with just my mouth, can't do that.
So as you leave the space, Malrum following at your backside, steps out. I'm just going to move you a little bit, right, to get you out. The doors themselves shut and lock. At this point, Malrum groups motions, begins to point, heading for the same exact place that you entered in from. So going towards the staircase to ascend, and eventually back out. At this stage, we're at this point in the session, we're going to take a break. So we're reaching that kind of after time. We're at a good break time, right, as we maybe do a little bit of a fast trek, right, fast travel potentially, depending on what conversations you all want to have, what you all want to do. But so we're going to take a 10-minute break. So we'll be back at about 1:26 p.m. PST, maybe a little after that, depending. And if you're watching the stream, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. We'll be back. So